Last chance for humanity. Final call for humanity. And this man is standing between God's full wrath and us standing up and getting it together and submit to God. They say Islam comes after everything else fails. Yesterday in East Cleveland, we go door to door to check on our people to make sure they're okay. When you love someone and you know they mean something to you, you're not doing it to be over them. We don't believe, and when they come in the mosque, we search people, but we don't search them like the white man, hands up against the wall, get on the ground, don't face me. No, we look at our brother in the face, say, brother, would you mind if we search you for your protection, the protection of the community? Do you mind? Sure, go ahead. Okay, great. And we talk to them, respectful. So when we go in the community, people respect us because they know we're going there out of love and respect, not because of us, but because of Minister Farrakhan. They know his name. Instead of going to God and first asking his forgiveness. So Minister Farrakhan has given us a teaching called Atonement, 8 Steps of Atonement. It's online. It came out of the Million Man March from God through the minister. 8 Steps of Atonement. There's literally a mathematical process that you could go through with the injured party, including yourself, and work right through to atonement with God at the end of it and make peace with the one who's aggrieved, if not yourself. So you got to ask then, who is Minister Farrakhan's teacher? And then who is Minister Farrakhan's teacher's teacher? That one man came and raised up these one man, and then that one man raised up this man in our presence, in our midst. This is a man who goes through the country and the world wherever he wants, whenever he wants. With no military, no weapons, nobody stops him in the borders. You can't. He goes where he goes. He just got back from Iran. The government of Iran invited the minister there. He spoke to people in government. He spoke to people in the community. And he's been there before. All the movements of the minister are being recorded, documented, and being shown to the world. Because he's a sign of a people that are going to be free. And we are those people. We are those people. We have always been those people. We just did not know it. Continuing to do what is right. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, black excellence destroys white supremacy. So keep being excellent in everything we think, say, and do. Be excellent. And pretty soon, Elijah Muhammad said he'd have us so, I believe he said, so wise or so smart that we'd have to tie a string around our finger to even know there's a white man around. Okay. So continue to keep focus on God. Study God's characteristics, the way he thinks. Well, how do I know the way he thinks? Look at what he does. Look at his choices. How do I know his choices and the way he thinks? Look at what he wrote. Look at what he spoke. Rather, look at what he spoke and then look at his example that he puts. Every nation, God always raised up a messenger or a prophet for that nation to guide them to the straight path. Well, if it worked then, and it worked 70s, 80s, well, who is it here today? The minister. He is a messenger from God. And we only reject it because we're looking for white people to be the messenger. We have white characters, Bible images in our head. And so we reject him because we were taught so wisely by the enemy, you must reject black. You must hate black. Marcus Garvey, the minister, revealed this past Sunday, ran a statistic. He said the Negro mind rejects 98% of instructions from another black person. Only 2% do we actually follow through with. So we were trained to reject black. Look at what a skillful move that is. Because they knew one day the real man would show up and he wouldn't be white. But if I train these Negroes to reject black, they'll reject their own salvation. So when we get knowledge from white people, we never question it. We accept it. It's hook, line, and sinker. But if a black person stand up and say it, what's his motive? We don't believe it. And ultimately to implement it, we don't do it. It doesn't have to be militarily, just mean we're taking this. And come to find out, and then it says later on in the scriptures, dear brother, that the whole world will see these people fall, and they'll say, these were the people that we obeyed? These were the people that took over nations? See? You can rule me when I'm sleeping in a coma. You can pretty much do with me as you wish. But when I'm awake, it's game over. And that's why they don't like Islam. You asked about why they put Islam in negative light. Because Islam calls for a singular Obedience to God and God alone. Not some white man, not some person they put in their position of power and they're really pulling the string. No, God and God alone. There is no God but Allah. God that cared about a people that nobody cared about. Thank God for answering the prayers of our ancestors who could not do anything about their circumstances, who were beat down and raped and ridiculed. And thank God for raising the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the man who had the courage to stand up with truth at a time in this country where he could have been shot and killed on sight. But God protected him. Thank God for Minister Farrakhan. Thank God for a man who's not afraid to stand with on truth and then share all this knowledge with humanity, regardless black, brown, red, yellow, or white. Shares it with whole humanity. Thank God for a man like that to show us how God thinks, walks, talks, and acts. So we can't say we don't know no more. Thank God. Thank Him. Thank Him. And may God bless us all to choose life. Not with our mouth, but with our actions. Be kind to each other and strive to respect each other. And just know that, we are the choice of God. But just because you're someone's choice doesn't mean we don't have work to do to continue to stay in that light. And the black man and woman, we are God's choice. And He's here to make something great of us. Shortly before the Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed, he gave instructions that continue to look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, continue to listen to him. Where you see him go, go, and where he says stay away from, stay away from. And he said, through that man I will get all of my people. He said he will get you to the other side of the lake and he won't drop you in the water, in words. So if nothing else, the greatest thing, many of the people in scriptures did, with the exception of Nineveh, they rejected the man of God that was in their midst, including Jesus. They rejected him. And as a result, those people suffered with total destruction. God wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. They pale in the kind of sexual aberration and behavior that we are doing today. They failed. And Noah's day, they didn't straighten up and come to God and submit to Him. God wiped them out with flood. And you see the weather today. The weather is like never before. They always say the weather is historic proportions. We're literally living today what was then. It's today. And we have a man that's standing in the seat of mercy with us. And so if we have last words, our names aren't important, but His name is important. There's only one Farrakhan. And so what am I getting at? Continue to listen to him. Continue to strive to take his words and strive to put them into a reality in your life. And if you don't agree, just be patient until understanding comes. Because that man has suffered to free us. And they call terrorists, isn't it interesting? They call terrorists people who stand up for freedom. They called Nat Turner a terrorist. They skinned the man like you skin a fish. They cut his head off and go and take his brain and try to study why this man rejects us. The minister is suffering great. I mean, there are people around the minister who want to do him harm. This government want to kill him. So at a certain point, we all got to say that's enough is enough. We don't have to be told a clean glass and a dirty glass. Oh, drink the clean water. We drank enough of the dirty water. Drink some of the clean. You make the decision, the right decision. May Allah bless us and see us all the way through to the true kingdom of heaven. Say it's in us. So now we have a man on scene to help bring it out of us in Minister Farrakhan. And I thank Allah, God, for that man and allowing me to live in these days. When I first saw him when he was here in Cleveland, and I'll close on this point, I thanked, as I looked in his eyes as I was approaching him, I thanked God for my mother for having me in that moment. And when I was in his presence, Minister Farrakhan, he is the sum total of everyone who's ever loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. And that kind of man is in our midst. There won't be another like that. Only be one Farrakhan. I'm just encouraging us, please listen to him and strive to do what he says. It will only help.